Did I make a single video then die for multiple months? Well, yes, but Arknights recently celebrated its 6-month anniversary, so now's a great time to come back. Now, let's analyze some future operators. First off, I'd like to apologize if I end up butchering these names. I'll be pronouncing her name as Ceobe, since it looks like Phoebe, and her name is Leizi, because honestly, I'm not sure how else I could pronounce it. On the CN server, they got the Thousands Heads banner a little less than a month after Earthborn Medals, which we have at the moment. So, suffice to say, it won't be long until we're crying over horrible gacha rolls once again. This banner will be featuring 2 new operators, the 5-star Leizi and the 6-star Ceobe, as well as a familiar face in the form of Lapland. This is a great banner if you're lacking on arts damage, as Lapland deals it with her 2nd skill and the other 2 are casters.
記者と捜査協定を結ばせていただきました。あくまで私個人としての行動ですので、どうか邪推のなきよう。もし呼び名が必要であれば、私のことをレイズと呼べばよいでしょう。私は誰ですと？どこで会ったか忘れた？なんですって？
Starting with Leizi, she's an AoE caster with a trait that allows her attacks to bounce up to 3 times while also slowing the enemies for 0.2 seconds. Although, each time that happens, the damage is reduced by 25%. Her talent is fairly good, increasing her attack to 110% while attacking unblocked enemies and increasing it to 120% if you happen to E2 her. Her first skill is a simple attack up, increasing it by 60% when it's skill level 7, lasting for 30 seconds. It's not bad, but honestly, you won't use this skill at all once getting her to Elite 1, since her 2nd skill gets rid of her biggest downfall. It increases her attack by 100%, and now, her attack isn't reduced after each bounce. This lasts for 32 seconds, and will make her deal a hell of a lot more damage. The only negative about this skill being the fact that it costs 80 SP, while the first one only costs 35. Overall, Leizi is a solid operator with a really nice design, so if you're a fan of pointy ears or thick eyebrows, rolling for her simply because of waifu reasons is more than valid.
なんか優しそうな人だね。ドクターって言うんだっけ？おいらはケオベ。言いにくかったらケイちゃんでいいよ。これからお世話になるからよろしくね。
On the other hand, Ceobe is a mixed bag. I don't mean that in a bad way at all. I mean she's a mix of so many different things, and all of them are great. Starting off with the absolute most important detail, she's a dog girl with thigh-high lace-up boots and has a beautiful design. And do you see that? Do you see that little detail over there? No? Let me zoom in for you. Ladies and gentlemen, Ceobe has a little fang, and I absolutely love it. Even if she was a terrible operator, I'd still throw my random at her simply because of how good she looks. But aesthetics aside, how is she on the battlefield? Starting out with her talents, upon promoting her to E1, she deals additional magic damage equal to 25% of an enemy's defense. And upon getting to E2, if there aren't any allies on the 4 tiles adjacent to her, she'll have an extra 8% attack and plus 8 attack speed. On most maps, it isn't a necessity to have all your units cramped together, so being in a spot where this talent is applicable won't be all that rare. On quite a few units in this game, their first skill is fairly lackluster since their 2nd or 3rd skills take the spotlight. But with Ceobe, they're all viable in different scenarios. Her first skill only costs 7 SP, and it charges per second, so especially if you're playing on ×2 speed, it'll be happening almost constantly. What it does is increase her next attack to 180% attack power, and binds the enemy she targeted for 2.5 seconds. Although she prioritizes unblocked enemies, I see that more as an upside than something negative, but I understand if you disagree. When there are no enemies to be attacked, her skill will still be charging as it can hold 2 charges. The 2nd skill is great in scenarios where you're facing a mixed mob of enemies with high and low defense. While your melee units and snipers can deal with the latter, she'll take care of those pesky heavy defenders or armed militants for you. Buff-wise, the only thing this skill does is reduce her attack interval, but it can reduce it quite a bit, and it'll be pretty useful. Her third skill is the most unique and different for a caster, since it changes her arts damage to physical, but that's far from being the only thing it does. It also targets the enemy with the lowest offense, opposite to her second skill, and seals any special ability for 3 seconds. Along with this, it increases her attack by 160% and increases her range by 3 tiles. This skill is really good, but I do see why some wouldn't use it all too often, because when you bring a caster, you usually want them for their arts damage. It's also pretty expensive, being 80 SP, but you'll start out with more than half of that, and the skill lasts for almost a minute. Giving this banner a chance is a great idea. If you're saving up for W, maybe just throw a 10 roll at it and hope for the best. I know that's what I'll be doing. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to stick around. This time I'll actually be making more Arknights related content, so if that sounds like something you'd be into, you know what to do. Either way, thank you for watching.